The most terrifying force of death comes from the hands of men who wanted to be left alone. They try so very hard to mind their own business and provide for themselves and those they love. They resist every impulse to fight back, knowing the forced and permanent change of life that will come from it. They know that the moment they fight back, their lives as they have lived them are over. The moment men who wanted to be left alone are forced to fight back, it is a form of suicide. They are literally killing off who they used to be. Which is why, when forced to take up violence, these men who wanted to be left alone fight with an unholy vengeance against those who murdered their former lives. They fight with raw hate and a drive that cannot be fathomed by those who are merely play-acting at politics and terror. True terror will arrive at these people's door, and they will cry, scream and beg for mercy, but it will fall upon the deaf ears of the men who just wanted to be left alone.
That's right. Don't make us men angry. Don't put us in a place that we don't want to be, because it may not work out great for those of you out there probably not watching this video that are pushing us real men into a place we don't want to have to be. Happy Father's Day to all you men out there. And you fathers, good on you for being a good dad. And if you're not, work on it. We all need to work on it. There's none of us that are the perfect fathers and the perfect husbands. I mean, you know, we are most of the time, but hey, we need to work on it still. This world is in a bad spot. Our country's in a bad spot. We've turned our back on God, turned our back on the Bible, turned our back on the saving grace that Messiah laid out for us. Very clear, distinct life that we are supposed to live. Yes, I know it's another driving video. It drives some of you crazy. I'm a busy man. Sometimes it's the best I can do. Got a lot going today. But this nation, this Western society has turned its back on everything that's good and holy. It turned its back on righteousness. And as we've learned in Scripture, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And one of the reasons, and I hate to start pointing fingers because I've got 4 more pointing back at me, you know. But men, unfortunately, for the last 2 or 3 generations, as good as they've been, and as strong as men have been to lead this nation through wars, and through many things, we've dropped the ball on taking control and not allowing this grotesque sin to happen in our nation. And men have just become weaker and weaker. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians to act like men. Quit being a sissy. Quit being weak. And today on Father's Day, as we recognize the men out there, and we recognize the fathers in our lives, and for you ladies, you wives, mothers that have fathers that are in your household, your husbands, recognize them, because it's a hard life. It's tough being a man, but it's going to get a lot tougher, and we got to stand up and be ready for what we face. And I think when you look at just the landscape of what's going on in the world, there's a lot that we're going to face. A lot that we're going to face together as husbands and wives and as families. That's why every video, to the point that it's just almost nauseating for some of you, tell you to get your houses in order. What we face is not something that as individuals will be all right if we're all separated from each other. We need the families together. Men, you need your wives. Wives, you need your husbands. Because the stuff that we're facing, we're going to need that support from each other. We all have our place. Not this globalist, woke, hyper-feminist, hyper-effeminate male places in society. society, the Bible clearly lays out how men and women are supposed to behave and how we're supposed to interact in a household. And men need their helpmeet. They need them. And we need to be tough because of what we're going to face. Just yesterday, my wife and I were having a kind of a silly conversation, I guess. And she was talking about these, women today. And I'm not gonna beat them up, but the women that expect a man to be worth millions and have all this wealth and spend all this money, but have very little to contribute to the relationship. And we were talking about that, and I said, I think most real men would rather have a woman that has a little bit of toughness in her, that's able to survive, that's able to help with the family and just contribute, than to have some woman that looks like they come out of a centerfold, but yet can't really do much of anything. And that's the world that we're moving into. In fact, I'm seeing more and more people online, women online, talk about how they're not interested in the frail, feminized men. One of my daughters, she's getting ready to turn 22. We were talking to her last night over the phone, and she's single, and we were talking to her about that, and she said, and I'm this is my words, but kind of gets the general feel of the conversation. She talked about how she's single because she can't find real men out there. All these basically soy boys that are weak. She says, I want a man that can protect me. She goes, I want a bear, someone that can, that there's a man there, not someone that's as weak as I am. And she's a little tiny petite thing. And that's where we are as a world. And you can sit here and name off every different reason of why we've ended up here. But the point is that's where we're at. And on this Father's Day, as we're honoring real men out there, let's continue to encourage real men. Raise up your sons to be men. Don't raise them up to be this worldly, hyper in touch with feelings, understanding of everything. Yes, men need to have feelings. Men need to understand things. Men need to be sympathetic to things. We need to be a warrior poet. But don't let that pendulum swing too far one direction. That's the difficulty and the interesting complication of men, is that we have to be one and all. We have to be tough, vicious warriors, and we also need to be sympathetic and have feelings that we understand what's going on. And in this world that we're in and that we're moving into, it's going to get tough. It's going to make some real men, and it's going to make some males, I don't know, not exist maybe. And let's honor that today, and let's encourage, and ladies, encourage your husbands to be men. Encourage them in their toughness and their wisdom and their guidance, and they need you. Us men, that's the one thing I was talking, all these conversations I'm telling you, I was talking to a friend, a man, tough man friend of mine the other day. And I said, one of the toughest things for a man is to be submissive. We want to be in charge all the time. We want to be the boss, because that's kind of what we were created to be. And it's tough sometimes for us to submit to the Almighty. It's tough sometimes for us to submit to our wives when we know that they're right and we're wrong. But men need that. We need our wives to be there for us and to guide us and to give us their wisdom and that perspective that they have. We're not whole without them. And wives, it's the same thing with you. You're not complete and whole without a strong, godly husband. And I know that there's probably many of you sitting here right now watching saying, well, where is mine? I don't have one. I wish I could help you with that, but I can't. Keep in prayer and keep vigilant, because if it's meant to be, you'll find one. But we live in a broken world right now. And we need good people. We need people that are tough, that are ready for the fight that's ahead of us, because there is a fight, figuratively and literally. And we need families that have come together and understand that there's this balance between rugged toughness and submissiveness to the Almighty Creator. Because He, in the end, is going to be the one that's going to win this battle. We're just the players. We're just the people for Him. He's going to win this battle, and we have to have faith in Him. But anyways, I'm rambling. Get out there today and celebrate. And you know, some of you may not have a great relationship with your fathers. Well, today may be the day for you to start working towards mending that, even if it's just sending a text message. Because aside from our relationship with God the Father, I don't know that there's anything more important in our lives than our families. And we need to mend those. That's something that's been under attack for a long time. I've been telling you this for years. One of the things in their crosshairs is to destroy the family. And they're doing a good job of it. We need to fight back on that. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.